Tombak has 16 tracks. Each track is represented by the trig keys at the bottom. Track 1 to 8 are audio tracks. Track 9 to 12 are bus tracks. Track 13 to 15 are send FX tracks, and track 16 is a mix track. Both audio and bus tracks can be used as MIDI tracks. We will walk you through each track in this video. Let's begin with audio tracks. Audio tracks can play back mono and stereo samples and multi-sampled instruments in polyphony. Let's select track 1 by holding track and pressing trig 1. On the screen, you can see track 1 is now active. For audio tracks, the first step would be to select the source machine that decides the functionality of sample playback. To do this, hold Function and press Source. And from this list, we can select the machine. We will look at the source machines in detail in separate videos. For now, let's stick to single player. I'll press Yes. And this is the sample loaded on track 1. Using the keyboard, I can play this sample in polyphony. Now, each one of these audio tracks has 2 insert FX slots and can be sent to 3 send effects. To manage the effects, press the FX key. Notice that there are 3 pages here, represented by the little dots on the right. Press the FX key repeatedly to cycle through the pages or use up and down. Track 1 doesn't have any effects yet, so let's add one. I'll move to the second FX page, and here, hold Function and press FX. This opens the list of available FX machines. Use up and down to scroll, and press Yes to load. Let's try Comb Filter. This is my insert FX1. Let's load one more. I'll go to the third page and press the same combination, Function and FX. Let's select Degrader. Track 1 is sounding pretty different with these 2 effects. In addition to 2 inserts, every audio track can be sent to 3 separate send effects. On the first FX page, notice it says Send 1, Send 2, and Send 3. This is where we control how much signal is sent from the active track to each effect. For example, turning up the level for Send 3 using knob G will add the reverb. Same goes for Send 2, the delay. Now, where are these effects located? They are on track 13, 14, and 15. These are send FX tracks. Each track holds one FX machine to be used as the pattern's send effects. Think of these as Send 1, Send 2, and Send 3. In order to access the reverb on Send 3, I need to select track 15, press FX, and this is where I can adjust the reverb parameters. If I wanted to change the effect, I can hold Function and press FX to open this list and select a different one. So we just talked about audio and send FX tracks. Next, let's talk about track 16, the mix track. By default, all tracks are routed here. On the mix track, we can select one FX machine to serve as the pattern's main effect. In this pattern, I have a very simple sequence going on, played by track 1 and 2. Let's load an effect on the mix track. Hold Function and press FX. I'll choose low pass filter. Now, since all tracks are routed to the mix track, this low pass filter is going to affect the entire pattern. So that's how the main effect works. Let's bypass this low pass filter for now. I'll hold Function and press FX and select Bypass at the top. The mix track is also where we access mixer parameters such as the track levels and the settings for input AB. Finally, let's look at the bus tracks. Bus tracks allow us to process multiple tracks at once and be more flexible with routing. Just like audio tracks, each bus track has 2 insert FX slots and can be sent to 3 send effects. They don't play samples, but they can be used as MIDI tracks. Let me show you an example of how a bus track can be used. On track 9 or bus 1, I have loaded chrono pitch as its insert effect. This is a granular pitch shifter. We cannot hear this effect yet because nothing is routed to bus 1. Let's try routing track 2 to bus 1. To do this, I'll select track 2, go to the first FX page, and adjust the routing destination for route. It's set to mix right now. Let's change this to bus 1. Now we should be able to hear the chrono pitch effect. So that's one way to change the routing destination. Another way is through the routing menu. Hold function and press mute. Here we can see the routing state for all tracks. These are track 1 to 8, and if I press down, I can see the bus tracks and the send FX tracks. Notice that all tracks except track 2 are routed to the mix track currently. Now select a track by pressing the trig key and use any of these knobs to select a routing destination. The available options depend on the track type. An audio track, for example, can be sent to mix, out CD, and bus 1 to 4. Just to highlight, out CD, which is right here, is particularly useful for incorporating external gears. For example, a send FX track, let's say track 13, can be routed to out CD, which can be connected to the inputs of an external effect pedal. We can then connect the outputs of the pedal to input AB of Tombak. This way, we can use the external pedal as a send effect just by cranking up the send level for track 13 or send 1. So that's just an example of how out CD can be used. Now, back to the routing menu. Instead of using these knobs, you can hold a track or multiple tracks at once and press the destination track you want. It can be bus 1, bus 2, notice it changing on the screen, bus 3, bus 4, mix, and so on. This allows an instant switch between multiple destinations, including when the pattern is playing. To demonstrate this, I have loaded a different effect on each bus. This is what it sounds like when I quickly switch between them for track 1 and 2. What's more is that the routing destination can be parameter locked. For those who are not familiar with the term, a parameter lock is when a specific parameter value, like filter cutoff and pitch, is locked on a step-by-step basis, allowing each step to sound completely different. Let's try parameter locking the routing destination. I'll set these back to mix and exit the routing menu. On track 2, open the sequencer by pressing record. The red trigs are the note steps for track 2. To create a parameter lock, hold down a trig, go to the parameter you want to lock, in this case the routing destination on the FX page, and set a value. Let's send this note to mix. Send the second one to bus 2, and the third one to bus 3. Let's have a listen. Let's try switching up a little bit. So by utilizing FX, bus tracks, and routing options, you can make your sounds evolving and chaotic pretty quickly. Now that we've covered all tracks and routing, let's finish this video by noting that each track has its own sequencer. Not just audio tracks, but also the bus tracks, send effects tracks, and the mix track. Having a dedicated sequencer for each track means we have more options to add complexity to our sounds. Let me show you an example. On the mix track, I'll bring back the low-pass filter as the main effect. It has preserved the previous settings, so let's clear this by holding FX and pressing play. Open the sequencer by pressing record. I'll add a few trigs here where the chords are playing. The mix track doesn't have any sound, just FX, so these note trigs won't produce any sounds. I want to use these for parameter locking the low-pass filter. First, let's parameter lock a different frequency cutoff value for each trig. Like this, and with resonance. The low-pass filter also has an internal modulation controlled by speed and depth. So let's parameter lock those as well. I'll increase the speed gradually and also increase the depth. Hopefully you can hear that this has added even more movement to this pattern. Alright, we covered a lot of information, but hopefully this video helped break down the track structure of Tombak and just how much it can do. Be sure to check out the other videos to learn about more features.